The prescription for radical success is action. The difference between you and the person living their dreams that you're watching is simply the amount of action. What the world has experienced in the last 5 to 6 months is such an extreme test of tolerance and our ability to be resilient and ability to overcome fear that if anyone feels that they have not held it together, they shouldn't judge you. It's very wonderful to see a mountain and to want to climb it and put your flag on top of it. It is very wonderful to want to create your own mountain so that you can then climb it and put your flag on top of it. But it is also wonderful to know why you are doing that or why you are compelled to climb mountains in the first place. And you might discover that everyone values mountains, which you actually love to see. You know, we all really need to understand that failure and failing is crucial to growth. It's absolutely fundamentally crucial. It's like a part of you has to be defeated in order to be reborn in a stronger way. Is that the first thing that fear does is it should hopefully connect you to wanting to build up the skills to deal with that fear. A lot of our responses are we freeze, we get stuck, or we run away. We run away and we try and avoid these issues, or we bury ourselves and we try and forget about. And so our responses to fear, what we don't realize, create more fear. Life means to evolve. And if you're not evolving through small incremental changes that build up over time to create a large change, then you're probably dead. And that shouldn't really be a goal of anyone. Put your head down and do the training and take the pain, and eventually it's going to pay off. How will you be the man, the woman you've always known yourself to be? But there's a calling on your life that you don't get to shake. And it's only yours. No one else has the same calling as you. And so when you begin to look at people, look at someone as a model of who you can be by taking a piece of who they are, adding it to the uniqueness of who you are, and then understanding what's the divine assignment on your life. What do you need to do more of? Who do you need to be more of? What do you need to evict from your behavior? Why do we fear the darkness? Because it's unknown. Why do we fear what's beyond our solar system? Because we don't know. It's when we don't know that we're in fear. We have to withstand strenuous and difficult things. There's something really powerful about failing and about figuring out how to harness that energy into fuel inside of you to just push you. It's really hard. It's crazy to me that we remain in a state of unknowingness in our own lives and emotions because we feel scared of actually getting intimate with our fear. We get scared of being present and close to our fear. And that's why we try and put fear to the back of our minds. We try and run away from it. If you can get to the point where you can say, well, I've already pushed through something uncomfortable, or I've already done something that I didn't think that I was able to do, didn't have the skills to do, didn't have the confidence to even try, but yet circumstances intervened and I was forced to. I've already done these. Proof of concept is already there. So what reason do I have to believe that it's not going to work again? Looking back at our successes and not just appreciating them, but really recognizing that the new challenges, in fact, are old dragons you've already slain. There's a point there where everything that you've been and every person and every characteristic that you've been that doesn't serve you, you need to confront it and you need to say, thank you for getting me to this point. But in order for me to get there, I have to leave you here. So if you walk alone for a while, and you will, share your vision with someone and they won't get it. They just won't get it. They won't get your vision because your vision was given to you. And I don't want to get to the end of my days and said, I kept some. Your greatest sleep comes in a combination, I'm complete and I'm ready. Why am I here? If you don't know that, you will live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question, why? So if you're not in a place where you're in love with life or in love with yourself or practicing diminishing your emotional reactions to certain people or conditions in your life, and you're living in anger or hostility or judgment or fear, and you want a loving relationship, there is no magnetic field for you to draw that to you. And in fact, if you say to me, well, it's that person or that circumstance that's caused me to feel this way, then I would say, you mean that person or that circumstance is controlling the way you feel and the way you think. And anything that controls the way we feel and the way we think, we are victims to, right? So most people are unconsciously responding to the conditions in their environment, experiencing emotions that are derived from the hormones of stress. Those emotions cause us to feel separate from our dreams. They heighten our senses, so we can't see them. It doesn't exist. The threat or the danger puts us in emergency mode, and we can think positively about the relationship we want. We could send the signal out into the field. We could have pictures. We could remind ourselves of what it is. But if you're not drawing the experience back to you, then you will be, as a victim, more vulnerable to the conditions in your environment, whatever large or small. And this is the insight. Many people think that they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. They think that they need to get more motivated, that they need willpower in order to execute on a habit. If I just felt like writing, if I just felt like meditating, if I felt like working out, then I would do it. But in fact, they don't have a plan for it. So they wake up each day thinking, I wonder if I'll feel motivated to write today. I wonder if I'll feel motivated to work out today. But instead, you can take the decision out of it by explicitly stating when, where, and how long we'll implement the habit. Life is short. It's going by a gazillion miles an hour. We got one shot at this. We might as well squeeze every bit of juice out of life we possibly can. Winners win when no one else is watching. How many foul shots do you think Michael Jordan took when no one else was in the gym? You're doing the work when no one else is watching. When you soar, let them admire you. Let them envy you. In fact, be the inspiration to pull some people with you. Can you go to your mistakes? Can you go to your weaknesses, right? Can you go to other people's mistakes and weaknesses? Some people, because of the ego barrier, can't do them. It's the process, essentially, of saying, what am I like? Everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses. The weaknesses are the other side of the strengths. Life is one big mind game. Then you're playing it with yourself. Tranquility is the new luxury. And we are most true to our best selves when we're tranquil, peaceful, and serene. Because I'm not naturally gifted. I don't have any natural talents. And all of us are born as this lump of jelly that can't hold its own head up. And we all learn to do things. And it's that ability to specialize that makes us great. And the things that you choose to put your time and energy into, those are going to be the things that allow you to accomplish something. But all of that is a choice. You're not going to think your way to passion. You can't think your way to finding something that you feel in your heart. It doesn't work that way. You got to feel your way into it. It's inside of you. Do you understand? The economy is going to change no matter what you want it to do. The weather is going to change. Relationships are going to change. Everything in life is always changing. We don't have to work on change. Change is automatic, but progress is not. So if you want to make real progress, then you really got to look at your life in a different way. You got to say, I got to take control of this process and not just hope it's going to work out like people do who make a resolution. You have to go dark. What I mean by that is you have to be quiet in your mind. Get away from people. We love being around people. We love talking. We love parties. We love all that. It's okay to be alone. It's also okay to be unhappy. It's okay to be unhappy sometimes, man. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm fucked up. So you got to go to the truth first. Who are you? Get really accountable and say, okay, who am I? What's the truth about me? Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out, it may take months, may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you want to be in life. And then from there, okay, I have my purpose. It may take a long time. No one knows their purpose because it's too loud. Find your purpose from there. All right, you got to start planning. People love the planner phase because it's very comfortable. Then from the planner phase, you got to go to execution. So the execution phase where we all hate, because that's where the real work begins. And that's when the failure happens and the failure and the failure. When you live for a lifetime, not just your life cycle, but a lifetime, you live for the legacy. I'm writing my legacy now. You won't sweat the small stuff anymore. You won't get caught up in gossip. You won't get caught up in living inside worry. You might worry, but worry does not have permission to take up real estate in your body. So, for example, if you're going to treat yourself properly, which you should, you have to treat yourself as an iterated process across time properly. So you today, you tomorrow, you next week, you next month. But the right place to start is with the things that are within your local control. And there's some humility in that. It certainly has nothing to do with instantaneous self-gratification or selfish. You teach your body emotionally what the future will feel like before it's made manifest. That means you can't wait for your relationship to feel love. You have to reverse that battleship and understand feeling love is going to be the magnet. And if you can hold the vision of your future, a clear intention with a coherent brain, organize signals into the field, and you could actually crack this thing open and practice getting so present in the moment that you're not anticipating the next moment or trying to predict the future. And you're no longer romancing the emotions of your past. You can find that sweet spot of the generous present moment. The familiar past is the known emotionally. The predictable future is the habituation of autopilot being unconscious and programs. Those are both known. There's only one place where the unknown exists. That's the present moment. To those of us who are living, we have an obligation to live our lives to the absolute fullest. Life is one big tug of war. And you don't win that tug of war by pushing. You have to pull. And a lot of times you have to pull yourself through life. This morning, I did not want to get up. So I had to pull my ass out of bed. But guess what? The more and more I got into that run, each step into that run, I was trying to gain more confidence. But to gain that confidence, you have to be willing to pull yourself out of it. Pull yourself out of a funk. Pull yourself out of whatever life is throwing at you to gain that confidence. By the time the run was over, I was like, you up. I once again beat your ass. Got to be willing to find the confidence, stay in the fight, stay in the war, stay in the battle of your mind. And so I've been intrigued with, can you be committed to the process of what you do without being emotionally attached to the result of what you do? Because a lot of people can be committed to the process of what they do if the results don't change. But the moment the result or the outcome changes of what they're chasing, they shut it down and they quit simply because the result changed. So can we be committed to the process of what we do, but not emotionally to the result of what we do? Understanding every day I get up and give everything I got for everything I'm a part of simply because this is who I am. Like the only thing I need every day of my life is 86,400 seconds. That's it. Like I don't need some reward. Like I don't need, the only thing I need is breath in my body, and I'm flat out gonna get it. But remember that the moments when life tells you yes aren't the ones that define you. The moments that really matter are the moments when life tells you no. That's what I want to focus on today. When life tells you no, ask yourself honestly, what am I capable of? And once you know the answer, don't be afraid to let everyone else know it too. Find a way to keep things in perspective. That doesn't make the painful moments any less painful, but it does mean you don't have to live forever in the pain. You don't have to live forever in that no. Because if you know what you're capable of, if you're always prepared and you keep things in perspective, then life has a way of turning a no into a yes. Betray your destiny and see how long it takes you to be drowning in a storm. It'll happen immediately. And of course it will, because what's calling you to be your best is exactly the thing that's pushing you forward to manifest yourself most fully in the world. It's what you need. If you run away from that, the boat's going to start to rock very, very quickly. Well, what does that mean? Well, what else will come out of chaos? You know, if you fall apart and then you put yourself back together, what is it that comes back out? Well, at least you were in better shape than you were before. You know, and then maybe you do that 20 times in your life or 50 times and you do it voluntarily. That's not my problem. The problem is when adversity struck, they didn't know how to respond. In other words, when adversity strikes, for some reason, people think they rise to the occasion. You don't rise to the occasion. You revert back to your training, meaning your core, your essence, who you are as a person. When adversity and opposition strike, you can't turn into the beast. You already got to be the beast. So it's a very brief life. And whatever is of paramount importance to this life, must happen at the earliest. Not day after tomorrow, isn't it? It must be today. So the life process doesn't wait. You need to understand your life is just a certain combination of time and energy. Energy we can manage, time you cannot manage. So a lot of you are trying to find inspiration and motivation with a depressed mindset. You're depressed because you're not doing it with yourself. You don't find inspiration by not living in the grip of life. You need to live in the grip of life to find inspiration. Put challenges in front of yourself. When you put a challenge in front of yourself and you attack it, that's when you find inspiration. Trying to be 10% better than you were last. Quitting guarantees to fail. Once you quit, it rules out any chance of succeeding. The mere waking up every day, putting the next foot in front of the next foot, at least keeps you in the game. The more you walk away from accountability, the weaker you become. Find yourself in the grip of life. You can't find yourself by doing nothing. Excellence is not a concept foreign to us. Excellence is in our DNA because where we come from, what we represent, is far, far stronger than anything we have done. Now, when you think about, holy, my job as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as an athlete, as a speaker, as whatever you want to be, you've got to get so good at that thing that when people see you do it, you make them experience the most potent human emotion, and that is awe. To get that good is a terrifying journey of self-discovery and confronting who you really are. Because you cannot make change until you acknowledge where you're actually at. This is always going to be the sticking point. And a lot of people, they'll quit because it got hard or just because something isn't coming to them right away. They'll let up a little bit. Kobe, he's known for saying something that was quite profound. He said, you have to get on what you love, what you do every day. You have to love what you do every day because those days that are hard, those days that suck, that's where the magic in. You go do it and you get your work in anyway because that's where you're going to find out who you are. That's where things are going to continue to happen. And you have to just love putting in the daily work because that's another token in the bank, if you will. Showing up, striving towards your goal. When people get the challenges, they stop. It's not just going to come to you but you have to just stick with it. You have to really, really believe in what you're doing. And you have to have faith that it's going to work out, but you got to keep putting the work in because if you don't, it's not going to come to you. It's going to fall in your lap. And sometimes when you know that, all right, I'm going through it right now, this is tough. Let's just take an inch forward today. That'll be better than going backward. You don't want to go backward, but I think sometimes just knowing that it's going to be a challenge. I think that's a good thing to know. We know, okay, this is my goal. Boy, it's going to be a lot of obstacles in there. So let me get in shape. Let me get in shape with my mind and my body to be able to navigate to get to where I need to get to. Well, you come into the world alone and you die alone, my friend. And you got to be on this journey of growth for yourself. Can't be contingent on another person. And I think a lot of people who are in pain or looking, for some, grounding often look to that other. If I date that person, then I'm going to be okay. It's never the case. Like, you've got to be okay with yourself in order to attract that person, into your life to begin with. I don't know how you can compel that in somebody. They've got to figure that out for themselves. Thinking of myself as the person who's just good enough to recognize that other people are better, stop me, and now start thinking relentlessly about acquiring your skills. That's it. Like, whatever. Be inspired by people that are better than you. Great. That's amazing.